यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुना तीरावनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जयो राधा कलाचंजी राधे जयो राधा कलाचंजी राधे जयो जगन्नाथ जयो बलदेवा जयो सुभद्रा निताई गौर हरि बोल निताई गौर हरि बोल निताई गौर जयो जयो प्रभुपाद जयो जयो प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जयो जयो गुरुदेव जयो जयो गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जयो जयो श्री चैतन्य जयो नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जयो गौर भक्त वृंदा Jayo Jayo Shri Chaitanya Jayo Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Jayo Shri Chaitanya Jayo Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jayo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Praying at the lotus feet of my spiritual master, all the Vaishnavas, all the Guru Vargas, that may I speak few words in the glorification of our dear Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is no other than Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for the pleasure of all the Vaishnavas and for my very own purification, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhevacha, Patitanam Pavnebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Mukum karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham bande Shri Gurum Deenataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Kathanchana smrite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhaved vishmrite viparitam syat Shri Chaitanya namami tvam. Things that are very difficult to do become easy to execute if one somehow or other simply remembers Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But if one does not remember him, even easy things become very difficult. To this Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I offer my respectful obeisances. Adi 14.1. Okay, so we are reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. This was the instruction of Giriraj Maharaj, His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai. So he instructed us, and it is. As I was chanting, I was thinking, this is so beautiful. We so often hear Krishna Katha. From all the other days we hear Krishna Katha, but only one day for Gaur Katha. And God is the one who gave us the Krishna Katha. So all glories to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and of course all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Before I begin, I would say this class used to be on Monday, so I'm used to having only 2 to 4 live audience. So I'll pretend that there are only 4 people and Radha Kalachandji. Okay. So that I don't get nervous. I have a lot of verses to read, and they're all in different meters and also different language. And this is a very, very elevated talk. If we get to the verse where Prabhupada is saying that it's not, I'm not qualified to speak on this elevated topic, exalted topic, but then it's a service, so I will be reading most of Srila Prabhupada purport and Srila Prabhupada's, of course, Srila Prabhupada's words, but I would also like to share a little bit of our recent Dham visit. Lakshmi Mataji, sorry Mataji, I forgot your initiated name, but please forgive me. She was telling in some temple that they discuss when they visit the Dham, they come back and talk about the Dham Yatra. It's a separate class. And I was thinking, this is so beautiful, but we don't have that. So I was thinking, so that I do not forget, for my own benefit, so that I do not forget at least for a year. So I would share a few of the experience that we had, and hopefully it will give you some encouragement and motivation to go and visit the Dham for yourself, and how beautiful experience it is. Like they say, give your children experience. Go to wherever you want to go. Give experience. There's no better gift than experience. There's no better gift than experience of a Dham. And I especially felt it. Of course, Mayapur, we went to Kolkata, and then of course Vrindavan. But Vrindavan, as Prabhupada says, is a home. It is a home. So we will talk a little bit, but before we get into that, this is Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter Madhya 8. This chapter names talks between the Lord and Ramananda Rai. And this is, we are where Mahaprabhu keep asking Ramananda Rai, this is basically a conversation, to say the least, that this is a conversation between Radharani, or Krishna in the mood of Radharani, and Vishakha Sakhi, who's one of the Ashtasakis. And so who is, like, this time we went to Ashtasakhi village. We went to Yavat, or Javat basically. Javat, that is Radharani's in-laws' place. And then we went to Ashtasakhi village. These are the 8 Sakhis. If you go to Mayapur, you will see the 4 this side, 4 that other side. They have their own villages. And Ashtasakhi Gaon, it's called. And then we went to Varsana. So in-laws' place, Ashtasakhi Gaon, and Varsana. That was one trip. So as I was going, because first we went to Yavat, or Javat, I was thinking that this Ashtasakhi Gaons also are the in-laws' place of this Ashtasakhis. Basically Lalita, Vishakha, I don't know if I can recall all of them. Lalita, Vishakha, Tungabhadra, and then Ranga, Devi, Chitra, Indulekha, Champaklata. So, yeah. So as we went, so I was asking the Prabhu, he is wonderful devotee, disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. So I was asking Prabhu, he makes wonderful videos on YouTube, on the dhams, and he reads a lot, so I like to hear from him. So I was asking him, Prabhu, are these the villages of the Ashtasakhis, the 8 Sakhis, in-laws' place? And what he said, it's so beautiful what he said. He might have said it in just one line, but I was just meditating when I was going through the villages, that he said, Mataji, the Ashtasakhis never got married. So these are their own parents' house, because after Krishna left, Radharani was alone. And there was nobody to take care of Radharani. Who could understand Radharani than the Ashtasakhis? Of course, Krishna, but he wasn't there. So they never married, and they decided they will take care of Radharani. And the parents agreed. What wonderful parents. They agreed that the girls won't get married and take care of Radharani. So this is there, and as I heard it, I was thinking, this is our movement. Our movement is not a Sahaja movement where we think, okay, we will die. Now we are dancing here, and then we go back and we dance with Krishna. This is not our movement. Our movement is to serve Radharani forever, so that she can be a part of Krishna's Leela. And so this is what I was thinking, like, it's so often it says a Gopi Bhav, and then, water it down, saying that we're going to have fun when we go. Of course we will have fun, but our fun is through service, not like, through our sense gratification. If we have sense gratification mood, we will never go back, because we have to understand we're not trying to enjoy Krishna. Radharani, we are helping Radharani to be a part of the Leela. And then Radharani's mercy, whatever we get, is what the mood. And so as we were going different, each of the Ashtasakhis has their own, like first we went to Indulekha Gaon, and there is and then the Pujari would speak about the, that particular quality. Of course, they have all the qualities, but that particular quality that she would serve the Jugal Kishore, Radha Krishna, that was like very prominently described by the Pujaris. We went to different, and I was feeling very blessed to know Hindi and Bengali, because some of them will say in Bengali and some of them will say in Hindi. So, but at the same time, we also have to read Srila Prabhupada's book, is what I was thinking before we venture into the Dham. Because so many people will tell us so many things. Of course, they're all genuine, because Prabhupada says in Vrindavan, ordinary living being cannot live in Vrindavan. But then, I went to, it's called Sangam, if I'm not quoting it wrong, between Radhakund and Shamkund. So there is a place called Sangam. There one Babaji sits, and he saw me, and he started telling me story, and I said, I have to go to Raghunath Das Goswami's temple. It's right there at the corner. And 7 o'clock the temple opens. He said, sit for some time with me, it will take some time, sit. And that sometime was like 45 minutes or 1 hour, because he wouldn't leave me. And he would say, Are, ye sun, like listen to this story also, this story also. And he, as I was looking at him, I was just thinking he had so much of joy, like we cannot get that even out of Netflix. the joy, he will be somewhere in his 80s. He was literally drooling, he's that old. But he didn't care. He was just going on telling the stories of Krishna, how Krishna killed the bull and all gopis, like how Radha Kund, Sham Kund came. And then he was telling, do you see the steps? I said, yes. And she was saying, these are all made of gold, but you and I are thieves, na? That's we will take if it is we see the gold. That's why it's unmanifested. And if you hear this song, Brindavan Ramya Sthan, it says Divya Chintamani Dham, Ratana Mandire Manohar. So it's a Divya Chintamani Dham. It's all made of jewels and gold and the precious stones. But because we are thieves, it has been unmanifested from us, so that we don't take it home. Make a little Brindavan there and never go back to Brindavan. So he was telling many stories, but as I hear the stories, I also have to keep what I have read, Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, in my mind, so that I don't go off board of our understanding of our philosophy. So it's very nice to listen to the stories. Prabhupada say when we go to Dham, our main job is to associate with the sadhus. That's wonderful, but we belong to Srila Prabhupada. So if we don't understand what is our philosophy, many philosophy will come and we will get influenced, and then it says, na ghar ka, na ghat ka, then you neither belong here nor belong there, and when you die, you don't know. Like one of my relatives was saying, I feel so sorry because, we in India, we are known for worshipping demigod, all sort, bring it on, we can worship everybody, put them on the altar. We don't get tired of that. But worshipping one is very difficult. All is not for us. So she was telling me, it's so difficult. If I just show the lamp to Krishna, then I'll feel I should show it to Shiva also. Shiva will feel bad. And then Lakshmi also will feel. That's how the heart. I said, that is fine. But when you die, whom will you remember? Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, if you remember me, you will come to me. If you remember demigods, you will go to demigods. If you remember the Pitrus, you will go to the Pitrus, and the Bhoot Pishach, you will go to Bhoot Pishach. And of this, there is no doubt. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. And I asked her, whom will you remember? She said, I don't know. So philosophy, we cannot forget when we hear the Leela. So we have to always read Prabhupada's book. It's a sandwich. We read, we visit, we read again. And then it becomes a complete circle, and then you can really get the rasa. Because so I try to keep quiet, okay, but doesn't happen. Kalachandji does not give me the opportunity. So we went to this beautiful dham called Fulia, known for Haridas Thakur, who did all the tapasya there in the beginning. And this is a place, I don't think it's very very well known. We have heard about it, even Chaitanya Charitamrita speaks about it, but it's rather a interior place. And this is where Haridas Thakur chanted his round. You would have heard the story of a snake where him and the snake were staying in the same place, the cave, and the snake had to leave because people could not come to visit Haridas Thakur, that place. And this is the place first time when Mahaprabhu met Haridas Thakur. This place is called Fulia. This is also very known because we will read that verse where Maya Devi came to, they said Yoga Maya, either way. External energy came to see how strong Haridas was. We know about the story of Lakshahira, the prostitute who comes to check Haridas Thakur. Also Maya Devi herself came to see how strong. And then when she realized how strong, and there's a beautiful verse where Maya Devi says, give me the holy name. I want to be flooded like you. So that place. So we went there. So this is a little story. I would not tell the entire of it. But then he asked me. The Prabhu was so timid, and I was even more because I wanted to hear story from him. So I said, tell me a little bit, tell me a little bit. Of course, language, they speak Bengali mostly, most comfortable language for them. And he started speaking, so we thanked him, etc. While leaving almost, he showed us very beautiful, all the places. And then she said, where did you get your initiation from? I said, US. Oh, you're ISKCON. I said, yeah. And then he said, your ISKCON doesn't give everything. I said, what do you mean? Oh, they don't give you proper Gayatri. I said, how many? Good that I had the Gayatri with me, then I couldn't argue otherwise, right? I said, how many? Not all. I said, we chant 7. And you know what? Even if I'm not given everything, I'm happy. Because if one's father is poor, they don't leave their father and go to a rich man's saying that, okay, the neighbor is a richer, so that is my father. That's our loyalty to Srila Prabhupada. What Srila Prabhupada did for the entire world, nobody had done. And what others say, everybody else built upon Srila Prabhupada's foundation. So even if there is more, I would still like to get whatever Srila Prabhupada gave. And this point, I was like no longer timid. And then their little crowd got there, and they started saying, yeah, ISKCON doesn't give everything. I said, I don't need everything. I'm happy what I have. Because what Prabhupada did, nobody did. Nobody did. And he didn't do for Bengalis or Indians, he did it for everybody. Yeah, preaching is good. Not everything is given. And he was going on. I said, which one you belong to? Then he said which one he belongs to. Then I got to know there was some commitment, they was expecting ISKCON to do few things, and it is taking time because of legal things. So it was a little disappointment. And so he was trying to take his frustration out. But anyways, I'm just trying to tell, at no point of time we should be ungrateful to Srila Prabhupada. Because even the Hare Krishna mantra, what to speak of Chaitanya Charitamrita, even Hare Krishna Mahamantra, being an Indian, being in India, and being a Bengali, I didn't know it. So for me, it's Srila Prabhupada only. Whoever else would have got it from wherever. For me, it was Srila Prabhupada. So we should never forget where we have come. Like as our parents, we don't change our parents' thinking, seeing anything. And in fact, I don't see anything. He was saying it so, to pause him. And it's not nice to go on arguing. And because he did me a favor by showing the place around. So I didn't want to fight, but he got agitated knowing that I'm from ISKCON. So I tried to keep quiet, but then I also have to. And then yes, so I just want to say that, Prabhupada is our savior, and we should never forget. We should never forget to read his books, because only when we read the book, we can defend him. Otherwise, we say, oh yeah, what you're saying is right, what you're saying is right, and then done. So, yeah. So Ashtasakhi, the mood. So it's very beautiful how they lived for Radharani, to take care of Radharani. And so this is a talk between Vishakha Sakhi and Krishna in the mood of Radharani, or Rai Ramananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And here, somehow, I don't know how, that we go ahead and we again come back in this. We are never getting over this chapter. Like I will tell which verse I have completed. Somehow the speaker will start from the beginning somewhere, and before India and still India, after coming back, I'm somewhere reading the same verses again. I don't mind it. I like it. Actually. I love it. So it's a revision for me again and again. So most of the verses are Bengali, but there are a lot. Some, Srila Prabhupada quoted them, are also Sanskrit. So, and don't get scared of my experience. I know Bengali, that's why I was in trouble so often. You wouldn't be if you don't know the language. You will just visit and come back. They wouldn't touch you. Please feel free. Fulia is a beautiful place, and it's the place is not very crowded. So it's, you can feel the presence. When it's too crowded, too many people taking selfies, more than the deities, they're busy taking their picture, then it becomes very disturbing to meditate upon those places. But then Fulia is a place which is very secluded, not very much touched upon. It is on the way to Mayapur. When you go, you have to do a little detour and go to Fulia, and you will feel the presence of Srila Haridas Thakur, who was the Acharya of holy name. And that's the end and means for us, the holy name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We are doing everything so that we can chant very nicely. Somebody asked Prabhupada, what do you do? Why do you chant? And Prabhupada said, so that we can chant more. I might be rephrasing it, paraphrasing it, but that's what the gist of it, so that we can chant more and more without offenses. And this is shorts of Srila Prabhupada. I was hearing a few months back where Prabhupada said, Priti Purvakam, with love, not like Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna. Prabhupada was doing that. And Priti Purvakam, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. As if you really love Krishna. Even if we don't, we can at least act. We act so many things. We can act that also. for some time. So you chant Preeti Purvakam, with love you chant. Don't rush through it. With love you chant. Going ahead, we are in 239, little background. Now it's almost wrapping up. We have spoken about the 4 rasas, servitude, right? That is the service, parental, and fraternity, friendship, and madhurya. And when came to Radharani's love, there was no end of Mahaprabhu asking, and we're still going. It's been months, at least 2 months, when we are saying, after Radharani was, Radharani's glories were spoken, then Mahaprabhu couldn't stop. He was going, because Krishna, one of the internal reason Krishna came is to taste that taste of Radharani's devotional service, because she is happier in service than Krishna himself being served. So he came, took the form of, took the mood of Radharani to taste. So now when the time came when Radharani's friend, best friend, Vishaka Sakhi, was talking about Radharani's love, what can be a better moment? So the topic is not stopping. His question, Mahaprabhu's question is not stopping. Like how this, how that, right? So we are also relishing that time and that mood that Mahaprabhu has in asking this question. So 239. যাইছে শুনিলু তাইছে দেখিলু তোমার মহিমা রাধা কৃষ্ণা প্রেম রস জ্ঞানের তুমি সীমা. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki. Now that I have actually seen your glories, what I heard about you is confirmed as far as the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in a loving mood are concerned. You are the limit of knowledge. As I read this, of course, I mostly don't prepare the class because I usually go through, this is more of a reading for me. But then as I was reading, I thought, when we talk to another devotee, because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya actually sent Mahaprabhu to Ramananda Rai, saying that he's a wonderful devotee. I was a Mayavadi. I did not understand what Ramananda Rai had to say. I never realized, because he is a devotee and I wasn't. So I didn't understand. Now you should go and hear from him. He is a wonderful devotee. So Mahaprabhu had the expectation, Ramananda Rai to be wonderful, and then he is confirming, what I have heard about you is exactly, what you project. So when we speak about another devotee to another, of course, if it's in concern, that's different. But when we're speaking about another devotee, if we can keep it like, say nice things, when they meet, they will have the start is better, the beginning will be better, So that's a mood we see often, like glorifying devotees. And even between Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai, and so often, it's always going back and forth, like, glorification, not the blasphemy. Okay, purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu found Ramananda Rai to be the best authority in transcendental knowledge of the loving affairs between Radha and Krishna. In this verse, the Lord actually states that Ramananda Rai was the limit of this knowledge. Verse 240. দশো দিনের কথা যাবত আমি জীব তাবৎ তোমার সঙ্গ ছাড়িতে নারিব. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued. So basically why he said this, because Ramananda Rai asked him to stay for at least 10 days. That was a strategy. They will say 10 days, then 10 days, then 10 days, and the 10 days never gets over. Never get over. We heard the story of, this is the story of who? Hridaycha. Gauridas Pandit, thank you. Gauridas Pandit, right? They went and they said, we were talking about Jhalak Darshan. They went and Mahaprabhu came and he served Nityananda Prabhu along with Nityananda Prabhu, and he said, stay few more days. And the few more days never came, and they said, okay, we are going to give, there are 4 deities, and one of them, this deity, there are 4 deities when Mahaprabhu was on this planet, like he approved sort of a deities, and this is one of them where Mahaprabhu said, okay, keep these deities, we are going. And then again when he was said, no, you let the deities go and you stay back, And then they stayed back, and the deity started walking off the altar. And then he got confused, and he said, no, let them stay and you go. And it went on, and then they said, you have to decide. Finally, it was decided. The deities stayed, and the deities are almost as, it is full size, but Mahaprabhu was, I believe he was way bigger, taller. But if you still go, you will see the deities very, very tall, and their feet are covered. I mentioned about it last class. Their feet are covered. What I understand, they run away, right? So their feet are covered, so that they cannot run with the towel on their feet. And they, like some other temples, they will close the darshan in every few seconds, at least a minute, maximum a minute rather. And like by the time you see the face, you miss the feet. You see the feet, you miss the garland. So it goes on and on and on. But and so many hours you can stay there. But then you never feel like, okay, done, seen like that. So that's one of the example where Mahaprabhu was requested so much that Mahaprabhu had to give deities, because otherwise Gauridas Pandit wouldn't let them go. So similarly here we see this is a common theme and mood where Lord was saying, because Ramananda Rai said, stay at least for 10 days. And he is saying, what 10 days? I want your association for rest of the life. So that's the verse. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, to say nothing of 10 days, as long as I live, I shall find it impossible to give up your company. 241. নীলাচলে তুমি আমি থাকিব এক সঙ্গে সুখে গাইব কাল কৃষ্ণ কথা রঙ্গে. Translation. You and I shall remain together at Jagannath Puri. We shall pass our time together in joy, talking about Krishna and his pastimes. Even though Mahaprabhu had so many associates, at this point in time, we realize as we are going towards Antya, towards the end, we will see that he had two main associates. Prabhupada often talks about it, that Mahaprabhu would speak about his intimate pastime with two people, two devotees. One is Rai Ramananda and another is Swarup Damodar, because this is Lalita Sakhi and Vishakha Sakhi. And who else can understand the intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna than the Ashta Sakhis, or those primary Sakhis, primarily Lalita Sakhi and Vishakha Sakhi. And so that's why even Mahaprabhu is feeling the need of the association as much. So he's saying, what are you talking about 10 days? I want it for the rest of my life. And you come to Jagannath Puri and we will, we'll stay there together and speak about Krishna. Now if you go to Jagannath Puri, there's a temple of, it's called Gambhira. If you see Gambhira means, we were discussing, it's a small room where, Mahaprabhu would associate with Rai Ramananda and Swarup Damodar and hear about the intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna and fall in ecstasy all the time. He will fall in ecstasy all the time. Next one, 242. এত বলি দুহে নিজ নিজ কার্যে গেলা সন্ধ্যাকালে রায়ে পুনঃ আসিয়া মিলিলা. In this way, they both departed to perform their respective duties. Then, in the evening, Ramananda Rai returned to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, they went to do their own prescribed duties, and then they met in the evening and spoke about Krishna more and more. অন্যান্য মিলি দুহে নিবৃত্তে বসিয়া প্রশ্ন উত্তর গোষ্ঠী কহে আনন্দিত হইয়া. Thus they met time and time again, sitting in a secluded place and jubilantly discussing devotional service by question and answer process. 244. প্রভু কহে রামানন্দ করেন উত্তর, প্রভু পুছে রামানন্দ করেন উত্তর, এই মতো সেই রাত্রে কথা পরস্পর. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked the question and Sri Ramananda Rai gave the answers. In this way, they were engaged in discussion throughout the night. Before we move ahead, those of you who did not hear the previous one, or if you are like me and forget things, I will just remind you. It is not that Mahaprabhu doesn't know about the pastimes and he is asking question to Rai Ramananda and he knows everything. Before, in the beginning of the chapter, it says that how the ocean has everything and cloud sucks up the moisture and comes back as a rain. Right? Similarly, Mahaprabhu, in the heart of Ramananda Rai, settled all these answers and then asking him again, and the answer is coming back as the rain to the ocean. So Mahaprabhu is the source. But how will we know if they don't ask question and if he doesn't give the reply, right? So for us and for his own, for his own discussion, for his own pleasure, he is also doing it. So it's not that Mahaprabhu doesn't know question and he is asking, oh, tell me about Radharani. Radharani, of course, knows about Radharani. But he wants to hear it, and he wants us to hear it. So that's where we are. (245) Prabhu kohe kono vidya vidya modheshar, Rai kohe Krishna bhakto bina nahi ar vidya nahi ar. Translation: on one occasion, the Lord inquired, of all the types of education, which is the most important? Ramananda Rai replied, no education is important other than the transcendental devotional service of Krishna. So those of us went to school, we did not know this. Now it's too late, but good, we can read it at least. So purport. Text 245 to 257 are all questions and answers between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. In these exchanges, there is an attempt to show the difference between material and spiritual existence. Education in Krishna consciousness is always transcendental and is the best of all forms of education. Material education aims at increasing the activities of material sense gratification. Beyond material sense gratification is another negative form of knowledge called Brahma Vidya, or impersonal transcendental knowledge. But beyond that Brahma Vidya, or knowledge of the impersonal Brahman, is knowledge of devotional service to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. This knowledge is higher, and higher still is devotional service to Lord Krishna, which is the topmost form of education. According to Srimad Bhagavatam 4:29-49, Tat karma haritosham yatsa vidya tanmatir yaya. Work meant for pleasing the Supreme Lord is the best, and education that enhances one's Krishna consciousness is the best. Also, according to Srimad Bhagavatam 7:5-23-24, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Bandhanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam Iti Pumsa Prita Vishnu Bhaktischennava Kritya Bhagavati Adha Tanmanne Dhitam Uttamam. This is the statement given by Prahlad Maharaj in answer to a question raised by his father. Prahlad Maharaj said, to hear or chant about Lord Vishnu, to remember him, to serve his lotus feet, to worship him, to offer prayers to him, to become his servant and his friend, to sacrifice everything for his service, all these are varieties of devotional service. One who is engaged in such activities is understood to be educated to the topmost perfection. This is by Prahlad Maharaj, speaking of education. So he's telling what is the topmost education. Let's see. We have time. Next purport is really big, a lot of verses. Do you have any question? It is 8:15. Officially, we pause, but I can go ahead if there are no questions. Nothing? Okay. Yes, Mataji. Yes, ma'am. We should have one.
Thank you so much for your remembering the pastimes of your visit to the Holy Dham. That was very beautiful. I wanted to ask, in this pastime of Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Roy, are they speaking to each other as Krishna and Vishaka, or are they speaking to each other as Ramananda Roy and Lord Chaitanya, or both?
Thank you, Mataji, for your question. It's of course, coming from you, it has to be deep. I don't know. But what I understand, as Prabhupada states, who is Rai Ramananda, I understand that, of course, the mood is there. The mood is there. It's like something, here the difference, like, two devotees talking here, Mahaprabhu is acting as a devotee and not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what I understand from the reading that we have been reading. And though he has been told, in entire Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see only few times when Mahaprabhu revealed his actual identity as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mostly he preferred to be, that's why he is called Channa Avatar, that is hidden incarnation. Of course, he is the avatari and not avatar. Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu both are avatari. They are the source. They are not the incarnations, but he is called Channa Avatar. And whenever anybody will call you that you are Krishna, you are the Supreme, you are the Vishnu, he will cover his ears and he will say Vishnu, 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 because he didn't want it to be recognized in public. Then the rasa gets lost. He wanted to be a devotee. And but what I understand, when they're talking, externally they are Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rai Ramananda, but internally, of course, they know their constitutional position. They know who they are. Like, for me, I'm still wondering which one I am. So for them, that's not the confusion. For them, they know it, but they're trying to cover. For me, I'm trying to show, but it's not inside. For them, it's already inside. They're covering and they're not letting it come out. If you see the very first meeting here, and when he came to South, the very first meeting, they saw each other and they recognized each other instantly and got attracted and embraced each other, and so much of love, they fainted, and then they got up, went on. And then they realized the Brahmanas, the educated Brahmanas are looking at us, they might feel uncomfortable, they acted then, sober. Okay. So for them, it's so much that it's coming off, they have to control it. So they're dormant, there's nothing dormant in them. It's already like Krishna's body, his soul and the body is the same, right? So for them, it's the same. For them, it's not Rai Ramananda and Vishaka Sakhi. For them, it's only, but they have to act. He has to go, he has to do his prescribed duty. If he is Vishaka Sakhi all the time, who will go to the government job and do the job, right? So that's what I understand. Does it make sense? You can put it, there's a button there. No.
Work it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
So when you hear this pastime, we're informed by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami that this is Lord Krishna speaking with Vishaka. Yet again, as you say, it's hidden. But at the same time, when they're speaking to each other, it's almost internally, they're speaking as they know who they are. So I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, well, do their voices change? Does she have a voice like Vishaka? Does voice Lord like Ramananda Roy?
That's very personal information. And then also he shared it only with Rai Ramananda and Swarup Damodar, so I cannot even say someday we may be able to witness it. I don't know if he will let us do that. So Prabhupada said, you have so many questions. I was thinking of myself when I read it first time. Just chant Hare Krishna. I'm not saying it to anybody, please ask question. I'm just saying. So, questions like that. So I reminded to myself, he said, we have so many questions. Ask all of them when you go back to God, and ask all of them to Krishna, because he will be able to answer all of your questions. So maybe, I don't know if Krishna will know that answer. Mahaprabhu needs to answer that. But I don't think they would be, because I feel, no, by your blessings and prayers. But yeah, I never thought of that way, but like whether, but yeah, I wouldn't take the name, but in our movement, and I don't know if I should say it also, but I will still take the risk. In our movement, I have heard of one Maharaj when he got to know Prabhupada's disciple who got to know his Swarup, and then he will often act out, like it will come out, not acting, but it will come out. So he will be in that bhav, his constitutional position, and he will keep himself, closed most of the time. Only the servant will be allowed. Maybe what you're saying is right, but again, I said it's a very personal information. I don't know who has access to it. I surely don't have. So, yeah, so that's. Anything else you would like to discuss? So I'll close it. Thank you.
Hare
Next one, I
Krishna.
have a lot of verses.
Oh, wait.
No, not yet. No, can you
It's
hold
red.
it like this?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, let's.
Keep holding it. It has a impact also, no? It looks like. Yeah, it looks good, yeah.
Hare Krishna. So I had two thoughts. Thank you so much. I adore your classes. When I don't hear from you, I have feelings separate.
I adore your presence. Thank you.
I had two thoughts. One was on the beginning of your class when you were sharing, this devotee who says, how many Gayatri mantras are you chanting? You don't have that.
We didn't get all of
Yeah,
it.
you didn't.
I said, how many do you know? I know
Yeah,
seven.
yeah. So even the Gayatri mantra, I was told recently that Sachinandana Maharaj in his book on the Gayatri mantra, he said, if you take a graph and it's this big, the Gayatri mantra is here in the middle, and it can bring you from this point here, like a circle, it can bring you from this point up to this point. But the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is this big of a circle. So the Gayatri mantra is within that, but Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is this big. So it can bring the lowest person on the lowest point to the very highest position.
Correct.
So the Gayatri mantra helps us
Yes, of
to,
course.
develop this mode of goodness. Yeah, but
we need the Gayatri mantra to go on the altar.
yes, but it's the Maha Mantra that actually,
yes,
like
of
without the Gayatri mantra, you can still
Yes.
you can
Yes,
understand your
lot of
Swarup.
Maharajas say that too.
Yeah. And then another thing, I really wish that Prabhupada Priya sent me this excerpt from a website that she was, and I don't see any, what's the word? I don't know what the praman is,
Okay.
but Prabhupada Priya sent it, so I trust it. And it's quoting Sridhar Swami Maharaj.
Okay.
So I wanted to share this about like going into things that are too high before we're ready. This is what the quote is about. I asked her for the source, but she hasn't gone back to me yet. He says, the article says, of course, the Rasa Leela is not harmful. Raganuga Bhakti is not harmful. What is harmful is our inability to deal with these subjects properly, rather than being seen as a respectful onlooker whose heart is full of reverence, anticipation, and love. You may be seen as an intruder who is trying to get some enjoyment out of this. And when that happens, you are pushed back and tagged. Beware of this person. He has not listened to all the acharyas who over the ages have given some caution about these things and have dedicated their lives to showing him the right path. He has ignored those warnings and is running down the wrong path. Srila Sridhar Maharaj says that then they will mark you as suspect. Then it will be even more difficult to prove yourself again.
Thinking two thoughts that came, and like when we hear, like I was clearly told, right? We were not given everything. When we hear, even with the movement, who are supposed to be followers of Srila Prabhupada, sometimes we hear that Prabhupada hasn't given us everything. Tell me one thing, if a standard one kid, you go to a standard, the first grade class, and you start speaking about PhD topic, will the student understand? So what's the point of talking? You have to speak ABCD, and because the teacher is speaking ABCD doesn't mean that all he knows is ABCD. Right? He himself is a PhD, but for you he came down, and now we are criticizing that he is down. But do we have the level to understand the topic? Are we qualified? Are we pure enough? When we went to Mayapur, right there is the place where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati chanted all the names for 9 years, you know. We all know the story, how he would, whole day he will chant. And he wanted to be pure so that when he preached, it has the impact. So preaching needs purity. And that's why Prabhupada could preach so many. And so when you go to that place is, you can, you know, he made a Radha Kund there and he chanted the names. And this bhajan sthali is so, and we also, this is not relevant, okay, but I will still tell the story, that the Prabhu, he's a Bhakti Charu Maharaj's senior brahmachari disciple, wonderful one, all glories to him. So Prabhu was showing us, and then he said this place, this story he told twice. And where the deities in front of whom he would chant, this is in Antardip is the place where Mayapur is. So the deities used to be there, I believe, but right now the deities, the Radha Krishna deities are in Rudrapur. What is called Rudradip. Rudradip it is in. So that's in front of the deities. I was feeling so fortunate to see the deities in front of whom Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur chanted names after names after names so that he can get, of course he was a liberated soul, but still for our sake, for us to teach the lesson, he did that performed that holy names, japa, sacrifice, right? So, and he was saying one day, he was chanting and he felt like having sweet rice, kheer. And that it was a time of monsoon, so, it was raining and there was no source where the resources, the sugar could come, the rice could come, so it was like, and they didn't have cow. But by afternoon, when he was taking his prasadam, there was kheer. And then he said, he asked the devotees who were serving, where did you get the kheer? He said, one old man came, gave the rice, gave the milk, gave sugar, and said, make kheer. And then he cursed himself, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, saying, this is who I am. I'm chanting, but I want to satisfy my senses, want to eat kheer. And Krishna had to manage and, act as a Paramatma for that person so that he can get inspired and bring kheer. So this is what a pure devotee is. Doesn't want to take anything from Krishna. And then we compare ourselves. Where are we? Are we there? If we are not, then we don't have right to all those pastimes and things that we can pray to Krishna, we can pray to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, our Guru Maharajas, that may we get there where we are so selfless for the service of Krishna that we don't want anything. And by their mercy, we can get to those topics which we think we are right now ready. Yes, Mataji. Breakfast is at 8:30. Please feel free to help yourself.
Your point that you made about the person who was upset that you were with ISKCON and that Prabhupada said that, this shows their lack of intelligence, it shows their foolishness, because in the very first, in Bhagavad Gita that Srila Prabhupada translated, in the very beginning, in the introduction, if you read that introduction, Prabhupada speaks about everything. He speaks about the primary rasas, he speaks the philosophy, everything is in that introduction to the Bhagavad Gita. So when people say this, they're so wrong.
Yeah, if you're talking about the person whom we met in Fulia, they don't know Srila Prabhupada like we do. And also when we were coming back, the Prabhu who was taking us, who was giving us the ride, he was saying, these are Mataji rasa between devotees, so don't take it too hard. So yeah, each one to their own.
True. I was also, there was a quote that I was just looking for, but I couldn't find it. But I'll send it to the class group chat when I do find it. That was saying that Krishna is actually very pleased when these high transcendental, like rasika subject matters are explained in hidden language, like poetic metaphors and these things. He likes when it's explained in a hidden language. And actually, this is what Srila Prabhupada did. He did not neglect to give us the highest, most esoteric rasika katha, but he did it in such a way that only those who are qualified to see it we'll see it. And so as we read the same book over and over,
again,
we start to see, oh my gosh, this is very rustic.
This is like a mystic thing though. Like, read it, it's like a new topic. It's a new topic as if you have never read it. But it's only when you read it again and don't think, okay, I'm done, Chaitanya Charitamrita, what's next? If you say that, then you don't get anything. Because you are done Chaitanya Charitamrita, you are done Bhagavad Gita. Even, Prabhupada wouldn't say that he is done, though he translated it. But if we say we are done with that book, then the book is done with us. So to know that the book has magic in it, the trick is, you have to go back to the book again and again and again and never say that I'm done with the book, I'm done with my chanting. I don't have any more energy and taste, and my problem that is not a problem with the book or the holy names. Yes. No, it's okay. I have time. It's your breakfast.
Thank you so much for reading this beautiful Chaitanya Charitamrita. And I love, like this Mataji said, your katha, when you speak, it comes from the heart and we can feel it. So thank you very much. I like this point where in 242, I believe, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was speaking to Ramananda Rai, and he's telling him that in the morning we go to work, and in the evening we come and hear Harikatha. It's beautiful because that's what we're doing right now. I mean, right now is morning for us, but on a regular basis, like throughout the week and everything, we get together for home programs and come together and hear about, sing Mahamantra, hear about Krishna's pastimes and his words. So it's really beautiful, and I really appreciate this time when I came that I see this here. I don't have to look at my phone and try to see where is this? But now
don't put a pressure on us, Mataji. It may not be next time, okay? Just feel grateful that we have it this time.
Yeah. Then the whole everything I see around the temple, the
I also
fences
did
are
not see it because I have lost the expectations. And now that you are saying it's there, I realize it's there.
So thank you for all the devotees present here today. You're a wonderful association, and I'm actually awake and hearing the Harikatha listening because of you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you for visiting us. I wouldn't say so often, but thank you for visiting us. We are very, very pleased to have your association from all the way from there to here. Thank you for bringing your family. Quickly what you said, as we read, we will hear, we will get to know, Mahaprabhu would do his duties actually as a duty, like for the sake of it. Like, his eating, sleeping, things like that is necessary to keep the body together, body and soul together, just as a sake of it. And the main primary focus was Krishna. I was thinking it's just the reverse for me. That's what I was thinking when it was mentioned again and again, Mahaprabhu will just do it. A couple of times it's mentioned actually that, he will do it as a duty. Like, for the sake, you have to eat to live. But I don't think that's true for me. So that's the goal, where we do all other duties, which are called our prescribed duties. Of course, we have to be, if we're taking care of a child, we cannot do it like, we have to be careful, but then the main goal is, when can I hear Krishna Katha, when can I chant Krishna Nam, and the Krishna consciousness, like the Mahaprabhu showed us, like, I don't remember the verse right now, it says that like by his own behavior, he is teaching us how to be a devotee, right? So even our Guru Maharajas, by their own behavior, if I go and when I see my Guru Maharaj, I just keep looking at him and I see him doing nothing else, doing bhakti all the time. I mean, sure, all our Guru Maharajas are like that. And so that's our goal. That's what Mahaprabhu has taught us, like, doing the necessities as necessities, not to make that circle of the bigger circle, the circle of a life, make the other things bigger than the Krishna conscious activities, the devotional service, make the devotional service bigger and bigger and bigger, and smaller the necessities of the lives are, if I make sense. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Beg forgiveness for all the mistakes I have committed. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhuvevacha patitanam pavneveyo vaishnaveyo namo nama. And no, Jai. Where is that verse? I won't let you go without chanting this if you're here. Okay, this is Antya Lila 12.1. Please chant after me. Shruyatam shruyatam nityam Giyatam giyatam muda Chintatam bhaktas Chaitanya Charitamrita. O devotees, may the transcendental life and characteristics of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always be heard, chanted and meditated upon with great happiness. So please continue reading Chaitanya Charitamrita as well. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna.